Hi, this is Lily Cotilla. Welcome to Edging Life. While not traditional in terms of PTSD and post-trauma treatment from a therapeutic standpoint, completely shifting your environment and neurological language, people, associations to that trauma can really help you break free of it. People who haven't experienced trauma don't realize that there are these landmine potential explosive set-offs that could be anything and everything in the direct environment associated with the trauma, even in the indirect environment with respect to trauma, because language, for example, doesn't stay contained, or there are objects that can be triggers that don't stay contained within the surrounds of the environment in which the trauma exposure happened. That said, however, when you do completely shift your surroundings, and I don't mean pick up and move, but whatever it is that you're doing, when you break free of the environment which is correlated with the trauma and you end up giving yourself more of a chance of living a life without the constant trigger responses and cortisol releases and etc. Trauma reactions can be direct or secondary or tertiary in that there's a direct association with something and or maybe once removed from a thought that is then attached to the trauma, or even another layer. For example, if you were in a car accident that involved a red car and it was fairly intense and you were hospitalized, let's say comatose for 2 weeks, red cars might trigger that response of stress and cortisol release. Then a secondary removal that could also elicit a trauma response might be the color red. Even though it's not attached to the car, it's just that color has been imprinted in the psyche and attached to the PTSD trauma-related incident. This is just one simple example, but when there is trauma that is even more complex, especially that of the psychological variety that has to do with more than a red car accident, you can see how the associations can start to expand into the secondary, tertiary layers. In any case, so there are the conventional ways of dealing with trauma, such as EMDR and somatic experiencing. EMDR has tons of research supporting it. It's a great modality to deal with trauma. There are other ways as well that include changing your environment, going back to the same environment. It doesn't mean forever. It just means giving yourself a break from the trauma-related associations such that you can start to build new neurological pathways that are unassociated with the trauma experience. Then you go back to the same environment and the landmines, so to speak, no longer have the same pull on your reaction, on your somatic responses, on bringing you to where they used to from a psychological standpoint. So keep this in mind if you're really struggling with intense anxiety and reactions to your surround. It can really be helpful.